The materials you're going to need are your desired colors of merino wool roving, elastic bands, a towel, heavy-duty bubble wrap, a pool noodle, and some soap. So first, you're going to lay down your bubble wrap on a table, and then you're going to take your wool roving and you're going to pinch the wool roving off into small tufts so it's thin, and then you're going to lay it all in the same direction. I start with it going vertical, and you're going to lay the amount of roving as you want, as big as your piece to want, all in the same direction. I use blue for the first layer to make it easier to show it all in one direction. This is what your first layer of roving should look like. Then you begin to lay the second layer, still doing the thin tufts. I used yellow for my second layer, and you're going to lay it horizontally. You're going to make sure that there are no open spaces when you're laying down the wool. And this is what the second layer should look like. Then you should lay at least 4 layers of wool down. I did 4 using blue, then yellow, then blue, and then for my 5th layer is where I create a design. You can do as many layers as you want depending on your desired thickness of your finished felted piece. This is what mine looked like before I added the water. Next, you add hot soapy water on top of your piece and make sure it is completely saturated. Just making sure the water is spread evenly throughout the piece. And then I used my hands to make sure all the wool was completely saturated. This is what the piece should look like, completely saturated. Next, I take the pool noodle and roll the piece up. I'm making sure I roll it as tight as I possibly can, and make sure in your workspace you have either a bucket on the floor or have a sink handy so the excess water does not end up on the floor. I then take the elastic bands and wrap them around, still making sure that the bubble wrap is as tightly around the pool noodle as it possibly can be. I placed 3 elastic bands on mine, 1 in the middle and 1 on each end, to make sure the bubble wrap wouldn't come undone as I'm rolling it. I then drain the extra water inside the rolled up bubble wrap into the sink so I don't get it everywhere while I'm rolling it out. Next, you're going to lay your towel down on the table, and you're going to place your rolled up project in the towel. The towel is there to absorb any extra water that may leak out the sides, and also to keep your arms from getting irritated. You're going to use your forearms to roll the piece back and forth, and make sure you're getting from the middle to the ends. Try to do it pretty much evenly, so that way it can evenly felt at the same time. And you're going to do this for 10 to 15 minutes, and then you're going to check it. And then when you check it, you're going to flip it over to the other side and also rotate it in a 90 degree angle, like so, to make sure that you're getting every single side and every single part of the piece felted together. When you check your piece to see if it's completely felted yet, you pinch it, and if the wool is coming up when you pinch it, it's not completely felted yet. You will continue to do this multiple times, and it all depends on the pressure and how hot the water is and the color of the wool. On how long and how many times you need to roll it out. Once your piece is completely felted, or felted to your liking, you can rinse it out. And I decided to shock my piece, which means I run it under hot water first, and then I run it under cold water. And after I run it under the cold water, I toss it in the sink. And this is a process commonly used with Nuno felting, which is a similar process, but instead of just wool, there's a layer of fabric, often silk, in between. And this gives your felted piece a texture, which the cold water causes the wool to shrink. And then here is my final finished piece.